make sure.
You good? So, are we doing our second congregation?
When somebody turns PowerPoint on.
Yeah.
And announce it? Okay.
I thought this was.
Yeah, we're good. Okay.
Where am I at?
Good morning. Good morning. She says I'm not on. Nothing? How about now? 1, 2. 1, 2. Okay, we'll do it this way. Good morning, everyone.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
I'm Reverend Don, and it's a pleasure to welcome you to this new streaming situation we're still working on, apparently. And I really want to welcome you to Unity Spiritual Center of Waco today. Together we affirm and celebrate our unity, our oneness with each other, and our oneness with all it is, and our oneness in God. Your presence here is essential. For each of us is a unique aspect of the energy that expresses as Unity Spiritual Center of Waco. And we know that neither you or even me are here by accident or coincidence. You are an essential part of this community, and we appreciate you. Unity is a New Thought denomination, yet New Thought is nothing new to the world. It is, in reality, a synthesis of the greatest concepts from the minds throughout the ages. The laws of Moses, the love of Christ, the ethics of Buddha, the morals of Confucius, find your place. The 5 pillars of Islam and the deep spiritual realization of the Hindus all find an exalted place in the philosophy of unity. In unity, we believe that all people are created with sacred worth, regardless of culture, ethnicity, lifestyle, or sexual orientation, or creed. And we know that neither God nor unity leaves anyone out. So let's begin our service today with prayer. We come together today in your presence. We come together today to celebrate that each of us is a unique aspect of the love of God. Infinite presence. We move through this day with a keen awareness of the interconnection of all life, of our divine union with others on the path. I am at home in this profound unity, enlightened, comforted, and guided. For as we move through life, we know that we open our hearts and allow your presence to guide us, to lead us, to help us be the best that we can be. Truth, love. And in doing this, we find peace and joy, harmony, and we go through life expressing your love. And we say, thank you, God. When the disciples asked, how should we pray? The Lord gave them the Lord's Prayer, as translated from the Aramaic, which we say together now. Infinite presence, which is everywhere. Your name is sacred. Your kingdom is come. Your will is throughout the earth, even as it is throughout the universe. You give us our needful bread from day to day, and you forgive our offenses, even as we forgive our offenders. And you let us not enter into materialism, but you separate us from error, because yours are the kingdom, the power, and the song, and the praise, from all ages, throughout all ages, sealed in faith, trust, and truth. Each of us is the light and love of God, spiritual beings having a human experience. You are God's beloved, and we embrace you today.
Use the handheld like that. I'm gonna look like American Idol. Whenever I have hurt in my heart, I ask, what would love do? Whenever I don't know where to turn, I ask, what would love do? Whenever I don't know what to say, I ask, what would love do? What would love do? Anytime that I'm stuck in my pain, I ask, what would love do? Anytime I feel ashamed, I ask, what would love do? Anytime that I find my truth, I ask, what would love do? What would love do? Love has all the answers. Love makes no demands. Love will lead me to the truth and help me to understand that life is all about love. When I have something hard I need to say, I ask, what would love do? When I feel another block is in my way, I ask, what would love do? When it seems I can't face another day, I ask, what would love do? What would love do? Love has all the answers. Love makes no demands. Love will lead me to the truth and help me to understand that life is all about love. In any situation I ask, what would love do? When I feel limitations I have to ask, what would love do? I've got to look into my soul and ask, what would love do? What would love do? Oh yeah. What would love do? 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 What would love do?
Thank you, Lucinda. I was reading and I saw an article I thought I'd share with you. It was about Larry LaPrise, the man who wrote the Hokey Pokey. He died peacefully at the age of 93. When the funeral home staff was placing Larry in the coffin, they were met with an amazing display of resistance. It all began when they went and put his left foot in. Some of you may be young enough and don't know that. I noticed many of you did. Love, our one true self. We are truly living in the most amazing times on our beautiful planet Earth. Truly blessed, humbly honored are we to be here, and to greet all with the love that we all are. Yes, it is a blessing to be in a global community where kindness, creativity, universal or unitive diversity exists. Oneness and love consciousness is evolving so rapidly, abounding and overflowing with such expansive love, truth, grace, mercy, light, and goodness. In our time, the love light is so strong that even the woundedness of hate, violence, conflict, prejudice, and all intent of doing harm is being allured to the cosmic love, thus rising to be healed. Yes, when harm is coming out of the shadows so boldly to speak its hate, it is only because it is finding the courage to speak its hurt. And we are tenderly called to lift up this hurt with a cosmic love vision. A vision that we believe any atrocity can be held in a field of absolute love. We are all prayers, thus generators, mentors, holders, light bearers, heralds of a bright, purely positive high vibration of God's healing love, where we have the grace, honor, and even the joy to support the journey of any hurt finding its way, its healing way home. Yes, we are so privileged to live in this time, to see the remnants of harm being utterly allured, unconditionally wooed by love, to finally be the love that it is. We see the truth of those audacious times that even harm, which is unconscious, uninformed, untaught, unaccomplished, and uncared for, is curious. And yes, even courageous enough to rise up and walk our streets boldly with signs that speak of its incomplete truth to someone, anyone who will listen. And that someone is all of us. All of us who are ready to listen and to love all into being. Growing into beingness, our essence, our Christ consciousness, if you would, takes time. And it is the phenomenal pattern of evolution that teaches us that all of creation grows in an awareness of life. We grow in its beingness in its own unique way, each of us, taking its own sweet, and I say this affectionately, sweet, sweet time. Looking at a very simplistic evolutionary rendering, we have observed the birthing of an immense universe, still largely unknown, and then the human comes forth in this magnificent woven pattern of creation. And now is consciously co-creating its beingness with this magnificent creator of all. It is a huge leap in the evolutionary process. Let us all hold each other tender in this sacred passage from human to human beingness. Love. As we come to know who we are more fully as human beings, one can then shine out upon all peoples a radiance of kindness, compassion, and creative action, which upholds all levels of consciousness as being whole, holy, and evolved. It is important to note here that all graduations of consciousness have worth, value, a standing significance no matter how low one may judge another's consciousness, which in reality, when we do that, we're bringing our consciousness down. We know from experience that we usually resonate or interrelate with people who resonate within 10 degrees of where our consciousness is. Meaning, for example, say if you're at a 50% level of consciousness, that means about 5 out of 10 times when you make a decision, when you face a problem, when you just go through life, you choose to make that decision a conscious choice to take action of love, truth, justice, compassion, joy, forgiveness, oneness, and peace. And we feel comfort for those, with those, I should say, who resonate at 50% consciousness, because we're thinking along the same lines. We interact together, feel comfort. But the 10-degree margin would leave them relatively tolerant and comfortable with somebody, say, at 45%, just a little below us. Or to have the ability for ourselves to expand to someone, say, at 55%, because we can relate and see new objectives, see new ways of looking at things just a little above us, reach above and grow ourselves. Now this person at 50% to accept and embrace someone, say at 65%, a little higher than what we're used to or understand, would be beyond where our comfort is, where our element, where their comfort zone is, which would lead them to, or us, to mistrust or even doubt or criticize that new information that they're giving. We're just on two different levels. But here's the critical and actually most important part of this 10 degrees of consciousness, this stretching, if you would. Those at 45% consciousness may listen and understand the 50%, even though they are hearing brand new thoughts, brand new understanding. But the people at 35% won't understand what you're talking about. It's a little beyond what they have a clue of. So we don't talk the same language, have the same feelings, the same beliefs. But that's okay. Now about the 30% consciousness. Will they understand the 45%? No. But they would understand that person at 35%. Something they could stretch to, reach out, comprehend, and allow themselves to grow. And it goes on with several levels. Each level of consciousness is invaluable. It is not only necessary, but also essential to the well-being and evolution of all. Yes, we are all in a very crucial place, a crucial part of this planetary consciousness. We are always learners of the 5% beyond or the 5% beside us. I love praying for the heightened consciousness of the 7%, the 17%, or even the 27% of consciousness. To have special grace and courage to speak their truth, deemed as it may be, incomplete, maybe as I look at it. But the 7 and 17 and the 27% consciousness have more power than ever to affect the change at the base root, because that is where they live and resonate. They hold critical turning points, which will be to raise the 5% to 10%, to 15 to 20, to 25, or 20 to 30. Note here, the 50% consciousness could be absolutely ignored as a complete enigma to this 5 to 30% level of thinking. An instance of this, I'd like to say, would be if we were to show up at the Capitol and explain to those people how to express love and they need to go home. You might get hurt. We're looking at things a little differently at that time. There should be no ounce of criticism, sarcasm, how to read it right, judgment, cynicism, negativity, discrimination, or recrimination to any person for what consciousness they hold. They actually are the only ones who hold the key to the 10% around them. And they can affect immediate change. Yet, we all know that spirit lies powerfully in the hearts of all, at any consciousness. So with faith-filled love, we make the choice to actuate positivity, peace, compassion, and reconciliation in all creative resolutions across the planet. So it is noted that in our time, world leaders are on many different graduations of consciousness, and necessarily so. So because all people need to feel counted and understood where they are, where they live, where they sing, they grieve, where they dance, where they die. They all need to feel worth. There has never been a time on planet Earth when so many are being given the chance for heightened consciousness. Because of these many graduations of consciousness in our global leadership. A lot of leaders we like, some maybe not. I like to look at the two we have, one now and one just passed. Totally different in their concept of looking at life, a different consciousness. I myself feel that they're both reaching to the extreme one way or the other. But it's where they live and how they relate to people. We each relate to them in a different way. Each of us understand their level in a different way. Whether we agree or not, they're performing a service for the people that need that level right now. We are all needed to raise each other up. How wonderfully made we are to be absolutely indispensable in this process of each other's delightful oasis or odyssey of consciousness, taking us back to the stars from where we began. If we need more encouragement to live this cosmic love vision, let us look more deeply into who we are as a people inhabiting this global community. The current population of Earth is 7,571,000,000 and change, and growing. How many people wake up every morning with the intent to do harm? Ask yourself that question. 6 billion? 3 billion? 4 million? 500,000? Or as the little girl answered when her mother asked her, 250. I like to think, let the children lead the way. Love that innocence. Even if you choose 1 billion, which seems rather sizable, way out of line, I think. So let's go with a high number still, 10 million. If 10 million people get up in the morning wanting to do harm to someone else that had that intent, let's look at the other 7,560,000,000 people who wake up every morning with the intent to be kind. And when they miss the mark that day, they hope to do better the next day. And that is a high consciousness of our planet, of our people. Remember, those who even wake up with the intent to do harm still hug and kiss their children and send them off with hopes of a brighter day. We are all growing. We are encouraged that this vast majority of people rise each day with the intent to be kind, no matter if they are the billions waking up in desperate circumstances or the millions arising to limited means, or the tens of thousands opening their eye each day knowing that their needs are secured. Again, another optimistic sign of heightened consciousness. When those who are oppressed, abused, malnourished, unsheltered, neglected, spiritually parched, or feeling discarded, they still reach out to share their last slice of bread, to use their last $10 to help lift someone else up, or to speak that last hope to be the peace they feel called to be. All are attempting in some small way to make a difference, whether their intimate circle, those people around them, or just life in general. We all make a difference. We do not open our hearts to let God in. We open our hearts to allow God out. To let God out. How powerful that is. Consider this. You may be a channel through which someone else feels God's touch. You may be the occasion for someone else's defining moments. You may be the only Bible someone ever reads. You make a difference. You may be the voice of truth that they need to hear. It may be through your kind words or your touch that another person feels the embrace of the divine. And then they get it. You are my beloved. As I was working on this sermon, thinking, well, how am I going to do this? I had a dream the other night. I liked it. I could see these little critters. And they were all lined up kind of together, just kind of moving slowly. Something I'd never seen before. Instead of a shell, they had what I call a camper. It was the old teardrop camper that kind of shaped around and had flat sides. Well, each of them was wearing one of these, and they were just about touching in this little caravan. And as I looked, I could see each had different colors. And it wasn't a solid color. It was kind of a swirl of colors. Some of them kind of subdued. Some of them bright yellows, greens, blues, or something. But they were each unique in their pattern. And as I was watching them, once in a while, I'd see this camper shell pop off and kind of go away. And under would be another camper shell with a little different colors, maybe a little more bright, maybe subdued. But each of them have it. And I was watching that, and you'd see them just along, and no rhyme or reason, one would pop off. And I think, well, they're growing. They're expanding, they're learning. And as I watched them lined up here, they were just about touching as they slowly moved along. And I could see each one was an individual. But I could also see by being just about connected, they were interrelated and working with each other to move and to grow and to be. I thought, this is neat. But as I looked down there on the end, I saw a bright flash, gold. And the shell disappeared, and I saw this one being that was golden color, just radiating this beauty. And I was thinking, that reminds me of Jesus, our teacher, our way shower, and how he shined that light for us to move down that path, individually and together, to learn and to be. Indeed, the truth of Jesus will set us free and shine through us. As he said, it is your faith that will heal you, your belief in who you are, really are. Lovable, loved, and loving. Simply said, you are love. No other identity or self can begin to contain this absolute and only truth. Yes, just believe. You are all love. And as if all rise, all are greeted with the most gracious, long, loving look at what is real. The love that all have always been. So let's take this thought into a time of meditation. Right where you are, just sit back, relax, and allow the chair to support you. Allow yourself to just slowly move into this love. And take a deep breath as As you breathe in that love, joy, peace. For that is the expression of who you are. Your truth, there's no way around it. Breathing in love. And as you breathe out, just allow your cares, your worries, your concerns to just slowly drift away for this time, this moment. And relax, knowing you are an expression of love. So let's just sit for a few moments in that love, in that light. Now as we begin to come back to this time, to this place, let us hold on to that knowing that not only us, but everyone is an expression of God's love. And so it is. And so we let it be. Amen.
If you are here for the first time, you have received a packet of information about Unity and about our church. Please know we welcome and bless you. We invite you to join us for coffee and snacks and conversation in the fellowship hall after the service. Please fill out the form on the back of the envelope and give it to Reverend Margot. This is the time in our service when we have an opportunity to give back to the work of Spirit through our offerings and tithes. We give in love and gratitude for our own prosperity in its many forms, which comes to us through God, our instant, constant, and abundant source. If this is your first visit today, we would like to honor and acknowledge that you are a blessing to us and that your presence here today is your gift to this ministry. You are not expected to participate in the offering. Will the ushers please come forward? I invite you to hold your offering in your hand as we say our offertory blessing together. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all of the good I am and have, all of the good I am and receive, and I am grateful.
Would the ushers please come forward? And let us together bless this offering.
Oh, me, yes.
I don't think we circled it.
Okay. And we'll
Just
do
see.
our prosperity statement together. Or prayer for protection, I guess we're up there. Okay, our prosperity. Together. We affirm the continued growth and prosperity of Unity Spiritual Center of Waco,
and we are grateful.
In our prayer for protection, the light of God surrounds us.
I am the light of God.
The love of God enfolds us.
I am the love of God.
The power of God protects us.
I am the power of God.
The presence of God watches over us.
I am the presence of God.
Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. As we go forward this week, let each of you know everyone is an expression of God, and so it is. Amen.
Amen.